So after spending all this time with my athletes and essentially making everything from scratch and seeing the success that they have with that, because I was just dissatisfied with what was out there, I turned one of those things into a product, and that's called Fat Fudge. And it is what they use before they get on the field, what they use at halftime. It's what my performers use before they step on stage, or my actors use on long days on set. And the coolest thing about creating Fat Fudge and having built it in a very organic way is that it's something that is based on practical application with clients. And so any products I introduce to the Fat Fudge suite is something that has been tried, tested, and kind of given the seal of approval through proven results before I introduce it to someone like you. And it's something that I'm really proud of, and it takes a really long time to build. And it's been 4 or 5 years now with Fat Fudge, and 10 years overall with being a performance chef. And it seems like a really long time building this, but I also know it's just the beginning. So Fat Fudge is a tahini-based performance food. Tahini is ground sesame. It is something that has been in my culture since I was a kid. It's our version of superfood. We use it for sweet and savory things. We have a dessert called halawa in Egypt, or halva if you're in different parts of the Mediterranean. And by modifying the ingredients in there and adding in adaptogens, I was able to create an actual performance food. So you have 3 versions of Fat Fudge, which is the squeeze packets, and each of them are tahini based, but each of them serve a different function. So the OG cacao is chocolate based, and it has just a little bit of coffee, the equivalent to 1 coffee bean. It has maca, which is an adaptogen for performance. It's got turmeric, which we all know fights inflammation, cinnamon, and a little bit of salt, and it's the right amount of chocolate. People like to compare it to, like, it feels like Christmas. And then there is a strawberry one, and that one is called Power Berry, and that one is for energy without caffeine, because I rely on cordyceps, which is a functional mushroom in that, as well as beets. And it doesn't taste like beets, it does taste like strawberry, again, with tahini being the base. And then we've got Adapt, which is your recovery one, meant to sort of chill you out, because that one has reishi and ashwagandha. And so for context of how I have my clients use it, say if you're an athlete, you're probably going to use cacao before play. Maybe mix it with the strawberry. You're going to use strawberry at halftime if your sport allows halftime. And then afterwards, you're going to immediately go into the Fat Fudge Adapt for recovery. And that's the way you want to incorporate them. You can also have them at any time of day, but if you want to be more mindful of it, that's the way I recommend you use them. I get asked a lot, what can I do to improve my overall wellness? And being the fact that I am so in it, data centric, I want to know what's going on, is my number one recommendation, if it's possible for you, is to get blood work. I want to see where your baseline hormones are. I want to see where your nutrient levels are. I want to see if you have any clear inflammatory responses to food, because it really helps model out where you should be focused. It really models out what supplements you should be taking, why you're taking them, at what intervals you should be taking them. If that's not an option for you, then doing something like my gut reset, where it's the combination of elimination dieting along with some fasting and then some really focused repeating dense nutrient foods, will allow you to have a week experience of what it's like to not have any noise, and also giving your body an opportunity to rest and regenerate. And generally, when somebody goes through that experience, they're really bought into how they feel by the end of it, that whether or not they choose to pursue it further with a functional medicine doctor, or researching stuff online and just jumping into some lifestyle changes with their diet, incorporating movement every day, that's enough to get you down a path that will get you where you need to go eventually. I think a lot of people are like, I want to do everything right now, and I want to do the most extreme, and they're looking for the absolutes, and that's not really how it works in the beginning. So it's starting with little things that will get you there, and being really patient with the process. I get asked about my routines all the time, and it varies because my schedule varies. It varies because sometimes what I need in a routine will be different than it was 6 weeks ago. For me, sleep is the most underrated performance hack out there, so I prioritize sleep like nobody's business. I try not to schedule meetings or calls, and I don't have kids, so I understand that is something that I get to work around. But I generally like to wake up without an alarm. I leave my shades open, so I do wake up with the sun. For me, it's important that I set my rhythm to the rhythm of the day. I do have a red light at home. I travel with a red light, so that is something that is non-negotiable. I do have pressed juice with me that I make that has things that people are not used to hearing in pressed juice, like turnips, and then the things like celery juice that I start with, like it's a little sipper before I move into either my tea. Occasionally I do coffee. I'm very sensitive to that, but I like to get the hot beverage, the red light therapy in no matter where I'm at. And then from there, the routines could be different. It could be getting some avocado if I want fuel in. It could be getting some stretching in, reading in, looking at my calendar. Could be, depending on where I'm at, getting a more serious workout in. But all of those things after that vary. The things that are the same is trying to wake up naturally, and the red light, and then the order of operations of beverages. So the bedtime routine is the best I can do, to be perfectly honest, which is some sort of tea, some sort of breathing, some sort of gratitude, and then definitely not bringing the phone or the laptop into bed, so there is that separation. A perfect routine for me, if I'm home for a week or two, would be doing some stretching, doing some breathing, doing some reflection in a journal, and just being really grateful for what my body got me through the day. I have been asked, Mary, do you feel good all the time because of the way that you eat and all the things that you incorporate into your lifestyle? And I chuckled because I do a lot. I use my body a lot. I'm using my brain a lot. I travel a lot. And no, I don't feel good all the time. But I wouldn't have the ability to do what I do and feel as good as I do if I wasn't covering the baseline with my nutrition, and with the little things I do for my body. I don't even want to think about if I were doing what I'm doing now with the feelings I had in my body prior to discovering my autoimmune disease, because every day was super painful. It was awful, and I accepted that was normal because I didn't want it to affect my livelihood. But now I get to do so much more and really push my limits, because that's what makes me happy. And I know that it wouldn't be possible if I wasn't dialed in with my food and some of the lifestyle things I incorporate.